a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb in the first. Drive. It's tied. Corey Seager smashes the ball. Down line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field. Way back there. Gone again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you a few hours after I don't know what's the right adjective on this one, dependable shutout loss to the Blue Jays. I don't really have a whole lot of leads in this one, but I'll tell you what, a series win, I think, is what you have to focus on in games like today. Rangers, a collective 2 hits on the day. We're going to dig through this one. As we like to say, a lot of minutia to go through, but there are a few things I think we can point on. And, of course, a fun series coming up with the Mariners with their season still hanging somewhat in the balance. That's always fun. Hopefully the Rangers can play some spoiler this weekend. But the reality is you get a series win, and now you move on to hope to get some revenge against the Mariners, who, after a strong start on last Thursday, a week ago today, Rangers pretty much got dominated in that series from Friday all the way to Sunday. So we're going to get into all of this in just a little bit here. Of course, here at Right on Rangers, y'all, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers, and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Appreciate all y'all choosing Right on Rangers for all of your Texas Rangers content. And we thank you for even hanging with us after ugly losses like this one. And today was pretty ugly. I mean, look, the pitching wasn't too bad. Kumar Rocker on a bit of an innings pitch count limit, whatever you want to call it today. So he was definitely not the sharpest that we've seen him over the past month and a half, cruising through the minor leagues, even last time out against Seattle. But look, the numbers still pretty good. I don't think this is a day at all you nitpick Kumar Rocker by any means. So Kumar Rocker, a short outing today, only 3 total innings pitched. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. But really, I think the big news today, not that we're going to turn this into a Dodgers podcast, but big news today, Shohei Ohtani becoming the first 50-50 player in Major League Baseball history. Man, that sure is impressive. I can't even believe a DH stealing 50 bases. Almost unheard of. Aaron, you did this one early. I'm sorry, by the way, if I faked y'all out on YouTube. I know YouTube puts up a post, says, waiting for Right on Rangers. My bad on that one. I set this up before I left from work, thinking later on I'd hop on like I'm doing now, but don't mean to leave anybody hanging. But here we are a few hours later. Shohei Ohtani, though, 6 for 6, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 2 stolen bases, 10 RBI. My goodness, those are video game stats. That's MLB The Show on easy right there. And look, you got to hand it to the Marlins. And what I mean by that, I know it sounds weird when you first hear it, but I think they easily could have said to themselves, we don't want to be the guy that makes history. We don't want to be the team that this guy's going to make history against. Let me clarify. And instead, they pitched to him. You could have easily pitched around Shohei today, but you decided to throw to him, and credit to them. I thought that was, I don't want to say classy, but I thought that was the right move. The Marlins aren't going anywhere. The Dodgers clinched the playoffs, but this game definitely was one where the Marlins could have dug their heels in a little bit. I appreciate that they at least still continued to pitch to him, weren't afraid of history. Yeah, I think Aaron said it best. It's going to end up being Ohtani for MVP. A few weeks ago, I was very much on the train of thought of, Lindor plays every day. Ohtani plays every day, but does not play out in the field as well. The impact is a little bit more limited because of that. And not a lot of people thought Shohei was going to win MVP going into this season because he's only going to be DHing. But I don't think there's really any denying it at this point. I think Shohei Ohtani is well on his way to winning another MVP award, and I think he deserves it at this point. Those stats are just crazy. I just can't believe 6 for 6, 10 RBI, 5 extra base hits. I mean, my goodness. Shohei Ohtani, good for him. Let's talk Rangers, though. Rangers officially eliminated from the West title. They will probably be mathematically eliminated from the wild card before they head to California. Kind of depends on what the series happened, what the series is going to be this coming weekend. How are they going to do against the Mariners? And then how are the teams ahead of them going to do? So the Rays and the Tigers and the Twins, how are all those teams going to play? It really isn't up to the Rangers at this point. If the Twins get hot and win a few in a row here, it's over. But you have some scuffling. Who knows what could happen? But the Rangers at this point will have to hope for an epic collapse. And I mean epic collapse from one of those teams that's currently in wild card positioning. So right now, by the way, in case you're curious where the Rangers stand according to the wild card standings and where they're at among other teams, Detroit is actually now in a tie for the third wild card spot with Minnesota. Minnesota is reeling right now. Detroit has won 4 in a row and 8 of their last 10. So the Tigers may find a way to sneak into the playoffs. The Tigers were not too far away from where the Rangers were at earlier on in the year. If you remember, the Tigers were a sub 500 team at one point in the summertime, and they have just come on strong of late. Beyond them, you've got the Mariners 2 games out of a playoff spot. So, as I said, it's going to be a big weekend for the Rangers to potentially play spoiler. You win 3 straight, you sweep the Mariners, you all but eliminate them from the playoffs. I mean, look, again, not completely, but you all but eliminate Seattle from playoff contention if you either win or sweep, I think. I think either way, win or sweep. Let me get my phone plugged in here for the folks on TikTok. Appreciate all y'all tuning in, by the way. For the sweep, I'd say probably would be the knockout punch. Maybe they could recover from 2 out of 3, but Seattle 2 games out, Rangers 7 games out. Look, I'm not legitimately holding out hope here that the Rangers are going to make the playoffs. Don't get it twisted. But mathematically, something crazy could happen here. You'd have to have an awful lot of teams losing at just the right time. The Red Sox are ahead of the Rangers. The Rays are ahead of the Rangers. So a lot here needs to happen for the Rangers to be able to have a chance in October. I'm just hoping for 500, and I don't even know if that's going to happen because at this point, the Rangers would have to win they'd have to get 8 games to get to 81. So you'd have to win 8 of your next 9 games. I mean, I don't even think that's going to happen. So the Rangers most likely going to finish the season under 500. I mean, I think we got to get the Rangers to the offseason here. It's getting painful. And I mean, games like tonight, I think you say to yourself even more, can we just get this team to the offseason? And this is kind of the opposite of what I hope for. Like, you guys are obviously out of it, but could we have some fun on the way out here? Could we just have some fun? Could we have some runs scored a la, what was it, Monday night, Tuesday night, where we scored 13? Could we have some fun? Could we create some memories, right, along the way in September? Thought that the Rangers, maybe it was going to be that kind of series for them after scoring 13 out the gate. But quickly afterwards, it got ugly with the offense. And this is just how this team is. You probably remember right before the 13 run output, it was ugly up in Seattle on Sunday. So this is just how this team is this season. They just cannot consistently put together quality offensive performances. I mean, look, I would never expect back-to-back double-digit outputs. I think that's a little bit too much to expect. But, I mean, could we score like 5+ a few games in a row? Right? Does it have to be this feast or famine? We talked about that the other night. When the Rangers are feasting, it's beautiful. So much fun. But the famine is more frequent, and it's definitely just so ugly to watch. And today, I mean, look, Gausman definitely has pitched well against Texas this year. We talked about on the show last night, Gausman had a complete game, 3 earned run outing in late July. That was right after the Rangers, or not maybe right after, it was right before the trade deadline, right before they went to St. Louis. And the Rangers got swept up in Toronto. Part of that was the Kevin Gausman complete game. I believe 3 earned runs, like I said. So he comes out today, throws 5 no-hit innings, and the Blue Jays are in the same boat as the Rangers. I mean, they're not trying to tax anybody. I mean, they are definitely going to have those memorable moments themselves if the right opportunity presents itself, a low pitch count, whatever the case may be. Gausman today, man, I don't know exactly where he was at in terms of pitch count, but the Blue Jays had a pretty quick hook on him and did not allow him to finish out. I'm sure he would have continued to dominate. The Rangers really did not have any kind of momentum, period, in that game against Gausman. So if he would have stayed in, I'm sure that it would have been a similar output anyways, a similar outcome, I should say. But Gausman, let's see what the pitch count was at. 58. I don't understand. I didn't watch the Blue Jays post game, but Gausman at 58 pitches. I mean, look, the guy could have gone probably 4 more, probably thrown a no-hitter today. I mean, he was untouchable. And 6 strikeouts from him. Rangers have just had an issue with him of late. Definitely in July, but feels like Gausman has had some good starts against us moving forward. The rest of the Jays bullpen was lights out. You had 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, and you had a number of strikeouts, 4 Ks. Great stat line for them. Our bullpen really wasn't bad. You look at Pennington, I think is kind of the most impressive guy. 2 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks. You look at Walter Pennington, that's definitely a bright spot that I had noted down. Walter Pennington with a 1.56 ERA. I mean, I don't think that I had that on my bingo card. Pennington has been pitching very well of late. You look at his last 7 outings, last 7 for Pennington, 0 ERA, last 7 games. And one of them he technically started, but 8 1/3 innings in his last 7 games, no earned runs. Walks are a little bit high, 4 walks in his last 8 innings, but he's been able to do the tightrope thing and he's been able to get out of jams. Good for him. Again, a 1.56 ERA on the season and a 0 ERA in his last 7 outings. Very, very impressive from Walter Pennington. He was good again today. Look, we had Festa giving up a deep bomb to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. pretty much right off the bat when he came in after Pennington. Festa, that ERA up at 7. Not sure what they plan to do with Festa in the offseason. Personally, not a big fan of him continuing to have an extended or a major role in the bullpen for next season. But maybe they're going to see if they can get a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more out of him. Personally, I'm good. 7 ERA. And I know that the sample size is maybe a little bit small, but I'm okay. I think we can move on from Festa. Just me. Just me. Let's look at Festa's stats. So the 7 ERA, and look, that is basically the last 7 games for him. He only has 15 games in this season. 7.88 ERA in his last 7 games. Mariners draft pick in 2016. I'm curious just because I don't know, and I don't know if anybody on the show is going to know, but how was Festa acquired? If you know, drop it in the comments. How was Festa even acquired? I mean, I don't even know. Maybe it was a trade, maybe it was a pickup, but it's not like Festa is a guy that the Rangers drafted and homegrown. He was drafted in 2016 by Seattle in the 7th round, 207th overall. Look, I know he got some time with Seattle, had, a few decent seasons. 2018, 2.16 ERA. He hasn't had an ERA under 4 since then. Started out with the Mets this year, and in 1 inning got totally lit up. Rangers picked him up. So must have been just a free agent pickup, and he has not done well for Texas either. So I personally am ready to see Matt Festa and the experiment, whatever you want to call it, ready for some fresh blood in the Rangers bullpen next year. But Festa, he gives up a run, and beyond that, Chafin comes in, does walk a guy, but strikes out 2. Nearly a clean inning for Chafe. I'm ready for him to start stacking those, by the way. If we're really going to be exercising that option for next year, I'm ready for Andrew Chafin to start stacking some low-stress relief appearances. And look, over the last 7 games, we talked about this. It feels worse with Chafe because he's got 5 walks in his last 6 innings, but he actually has only given up 2 earned runs in his last 6. So a 3 ERA in his last 7 outings. The 5 walks in 6 innings pitched, that's definitely concerning. I would like to see Chafin end the season with some low-key, low-drama outings. Look, last 2 outings, 5 strikeouts in 2 2/3. That's the Chafin that we hoped would have shown up for the entire time he's been with the Rangers. There's been a few meltdowns here and there, but look, overall, 3.46 ERA over his last 15 games. That's got to be about since the time he started out with the Rangers, coming over from the Tigers. Man, it kind of weird in retrospect that the Tigers traded him, though, considering that they're in the playoffs right now. I mean, I don't know if they really have a need for Andrew Chafin at this point, but it is kind of interesting how that worked out. Let me go to some comments here. Baseball Network finally throwing in the towel. Is that what I'm seeing right now? I'm no longer going to root for the Rangers to make the postseason. I'm shocked. Dude, I know this loss was tough, but I figured you were holding out to the bitter end. I figured it was going to be Rangers can still make it until the magic number hits 0. Look, I get it. I'm just giving you a hard time. But nevertheless, look, it's going to be a near 0 chance the Rangers make anything happen. But yeah, I suppose if you get the Tigers, Twins, Mariners, Red Sox all losing like the next 9 in a row, maybe it could happen at that point, right? So it's on to 2025 for me, but can we just have some fun? That's just going to be what I keep repeating. Can we just have some fun with this team? Some good memories over the last, 9 games of the season? Let me check on TikTok here. Yep, eliminated from the AL West. The Rangers were eliminated today. Rangers are one-hit wonders. Not so fast, Tommy. I wouldn't say one-hit wonders. Rangers are going to have a pretty good squad next year. Anybody that's saying the Rangers are going to suck next year too, I can't take you seriously. You just didn't follow along this year. I mean, look, the Rangers have a full season of DeGrom coming up, full season of Josh Young, hopefully a full season of Evan Carter. Rangers had a lot of missing pieces this year. People forget the Rangers really did have a lot of injuries. Yes, the regression. Yes, the underperformance, but a lot of injuries. Big Game James, I don't know if you're still hanging out, but good evening. Appreciate the comment. I'm ready for the weekend series. And you know we're trying to play spoiler here. That's really all the Rangers have left to cling on to is we want to play some spoiler right now. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would love to see the Rangers take 2 out of 3. Look, if we can't have nice things, nobody can. That's what I've said pretty consistently. If the Rangers can't have nice things, nobody can. So whoever we can take out on our way to the offseason, let's do it. And look, we've got a pretty good pitching lineup this weekend for the Seattle series. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. Let me keep going to comments here. Fun fact, the reason why we're not as good as last year, we're like third in doubles, and now we are worse in doubles. I did notice that. I did notice the Rangers are like almost dead last, maybe still dead last in doubles. The extra base hits, they were just lacking this year. The doubles were coming like nothing in 2023. This year, hard to come by. We've said that all season long, though. The Rangers have struggled to get the big hits, the extra base hits. They can't and have a problem going station to station. So for me, I think that the Rangers have to be better at the extra base hit next year. Hopefully, we can get a little bit more consistency with the long ball, too. Wyatt Langford, I'm hopeful that he can get 20 plus, 25 plus home runs next year. Seager, I'm sure, is going to do his thing, 30 bombs. As long as he's playing 120 plus games, I'm sure he'll hit 30. The guy that I would like to see find his power stroke this year, or next year, excuse me, the guy I would really like to see return to the form before he joined the Rangers is Marcus Semien. Semien, 22 homers this year, 72 RBI. I'd really like to see Marcus Semien find the power stroke and hit over 30 home runs. 3 years ago with the Blue Jays, we forget, Semien had over 40 bombs with the Blue Jays before he signed with the Rangers. Look, I'm not expecting 40 bombs again, but I do think that Semien is capable of 30 homers. And look, he got to 29 last year. He hit 45 in 2021. He hit 33 in 2019 with Oakland, 27 in 2016 with Oakland. So look, I do think Marcus is capable of hitting 30 home runs in a season with Texas. He's not done it yet. He went 26, 29, and 22. That's where he's at right now. 26, 29, 22. Did hit the 100 RBI mark back in 2023. I think we need to get Marcus back up around where he was last year, close to 100 RBIs, at least 90 plus from Marcus. If we can get 30 bombs, that'd be great. And the OBP's got to be better. Look, in 2022, Marcus had a 304 OBP, and he's done the same thing this year. Hopefully 2023 is not the anomaly, but that is a guy I would like to see find the power stroke. No doubt. Can I figure out what the average against the fastball was last year versus this year? That would have to be a deep dive off air. So I'm sorry. I'm interested too, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to find that live in front of you guys. But I'll see what I can do. I'll do some research. I'll see if I can find anything related to that and maybe report back tomorrow. I might not be able to find it, but I'll try. Hook 'em horns. Appreciate that, Tristan. Look, Saturday, I'm pretty confident Arch Manning getting the first start, I think, against Louisiana Monroe. Look, kind of a lot of chit-chat from the Louisiana Monroe side, by the way, because some of the players have beat Arch when he was in high school. Come on, dude. I don't even know why those guys are running their mouth. But look, to each their own. To each their own. We'll talk more Longhorns on Saturday, though. Keep on going here. Daniel, what's up, man? I don't know if you missed the beginning of the show. We definitely gave props to Ohtani. Daniel, I don't know if you're still hanging out with us or not, but we definitely showed some love to Shohei. That was one of the first things I mentioned right when the show started. Shohei going 50-50. Well, 51-51, right? Is that what he's at now? And I said, look, credit to the Marlins. They could have easily not pitched to him. But the fans were there. They wanted to see history, and it's not like they were serving him up fastballs right down the pipe on purpose, but they decided to pitch to him, and I think that that was the right move. A lot of teams are afraid of history being made against them. Like I appreciate Skip Schumacher decides to go ahead and pitch to Ohtani, give him an opportunity, show him that respect. That was great. We'll keep going here. I'll look at comments all up and down. Make sure that I didn't miss anything. Daniel, thank you. Appreciate this. We got we got him in free agency. Besta. I slowly pieced that together as I was looking all that up. As I was looking at mainly his stats, where he had the one game against the Mets or with the Mets where he got absolutely lit up, one inning, like 4 or 5 earned runs, something like that. All right, we'll keep rolling with the show from today. Let me see what we got here. I'm going to try. I already picked out Walter Pennington as a positive today. There's really not a whole lot else, y'all. I'm not even going to lie to you. Josh Young, day off today. I don't think there was any other Ranger of note that really got the day off other than Young. Look, I don't think Josh Young makes a big, crazy difference in this one by any means, but we did have an error from Zeke Duran, a fielding error down at third base today. I don't know if Young makes that play. I'd like to think probably yes, but Zeke Duran 0 for 3. He is not in a good way right now. You look at the last 7, last 15 from Zeke Duran. Last 7, Zeke is hitting 0.48. I mean, look, I really don't understand why some of these guys are continuing to get playing time at this point. The Zeke Duran thing honestly makes me so mad because I really feel like Zeke Duran should have been traded. I really feel like we should have traded Zeke Duran when he was hitting the 5 home runs in 6 games down at AAA. I really do think that somebody would have taken a bite. I'm not saying we would have got some kind of crazy good prospect or even a good major leaguer in return. Who knows? I would love to know, though, what was on the table, if they even talked about it, if they even threw his name out there in some trade talks. Zeke Duran needed to get traded at the trade deadline. His stock was never going to be higher than when he hit 5 home runs in 6 games, literally right before the deadline. I don't know. To me, that was just totally throwing a free gift in the trash. Zeke Duran lights it up in AAA, 5 homers in 6 games, and you decide to call him up and hope that he's going to contribute at the big league level. And lo and behold, he's doing the exact same thing that he's done pretty much the entire time he's been with the Rangers. There's a couple of moments of good stuff, and then all of a sudden, it's just completely fall off the map. 0 for 48 in your last 7 games. I mean, I just don't even know what was going through their minds when they did not trade Zeke Duran. I think really the last 2 trade deadlines, they should have let him go and traded him for something. Last year, I think there was an opportunity with him hitting over 300 in May and into June. Zeke Duran and Leote were both hitting over 300. And Zeke Duran really wasn't a player in the World Series, like in terms of contributing. I really think that they could have traded Zeke last year. I don't understand why they did not decide to let him go via trade. But look, questions that the reporters need to be asking Chris Young. That to me is like one of those big questions that you should be asking. You had Zeke hitting 5 bombs in 6 games. Was there not a thought at all to trading him, getting value out of him while the stock was high? And I know a lot of the reporters try and kind of get in with the players a little bit and have good rapport. You're asking questions like that. Not everybody's going to like you, but I do think that's a totally valid question because that's a whiff on CY's part. You're not trading Duran. He's not doing anything for you at the big league level. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the offseason's going to hold. If they're going to trade any of the guys currently on the roster, whether it's for prospects or whether it's to upgrade a starting spot somewhere, who knows? But for me right now, you've whiffed twice on Zeke Duran and the opportunity to trade him. And I guess the only thing I can think of is CY and company are just holding out hope that he is going to turn into super utility guy. I'm not here ain't saying that to y'all by any means. But I think that's the only reason you hang on to Zeke at the trade deadline a month or 2 ago is you thought he was going to really catch fire and be super utility guy. He just has not been that guy at all since he's come up for the Rangers. Can he play multiple positions? Yeah. Can he hit consistently well? No. So That's one that I feel like the front office definitely whiffed on. Let me keep going with comments here. Aaron wants me to talk Rocker's underwhelming performance. Well, look, to be fair to him, they've still got him on the pitch count, innings limit. So who knows what he does if he goes out there and pitches 2 more innings. I mean, he had 5 Ks in 3 innings. I think the 4 walks definitely are a blemish, ugly, not ideal. Who knows what he does? If you give him 5 innings, maybe he ends up going 5 strong, 2 earned runs. And look, only one of those runs that he gave up was earned. One of those comes off the Zeke Duran error over at third base, his 4th of the season. So for me, I'm not really too down on Rocker's start, if I'm being completely honest. The walks I did not like, but those are fixable in my opinion. Didn't seem like Rocker was really getting hit hard. It really felt more like he was just having to work a lot. I don't know how many foul balls the Blue Jays hit, but the counts were just long, and he was having to go a lot deeper into ABs than what he did with the Mariners. They were actually talking about it on the broadcast. The Mariners are like the worst swing and miss team in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, clearly that really played well into what Rocker likes to do and the kind of pitcher that Rocker is. But the Blue Jays, not as much of a swing and miss team. So, Rocker definitely more tested in this game. Personally, I'm not really at all expecting him to go through his first month in the majors without any kind of hiccup. So for me, good that he's going through this a little bit right now in September when the pressure's low. I'm sure he'll be back in spring training and he'll probably make the major league roster at this rate. He would really have to take a dive at the end of this year and in spring training for the Rangers, I think, not to have him on the starting roster and in the starting rotation on opening day. But I'm not going to go in too hard on Rocker. The offense was terrible. He had bad defense behind him that allowed another run to score, an inning to be extended. Still struck out 5. The walks are fixable, but definitely not the electric start that maybe was hyped up to be Rocker making his first appearance at Globe Life Field. I feel like at the end of the day, it was always probably going to be somewhat of a letdown unless he went out and threw 5 or 6, 1 hit, no earned run, 8, 9 Ks. I feel like it was always kind of going to be a letdown. He was very, and rightfully so, Rocker very much hyped up right now. And I think that he's definitely going to be a solid major league player. Probably will be the Rangers' number 2 or number 3 guy next year, depending on what happens with Evo. I'm expecting big things out of Kumar, but I think we have to temper the expectations just a little bit at the beginning of the year. We'll see what happens. I mean, look, I told y'all to temper the expectations when he moved up to AAA, and then he just kept killing it. So maybe he ends up just continuing to dominate throughout September and into spring training. Who knows? But I'm not too down on Kumar Rocker today. More down on this terrible offense. Terrible offense today. 2 hits. You got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. Natalie says, I heard on Bleacher Report someone thinks Taveras or Garcia could be gone. I would like to see them move on from one of those guys. And we're going to talk a lot of offseason Rangers eventually, but I would like to see Texas move on from one of those dudes. Now, Leote, what's the contract deal with him? Is he's not a free agent after next year, is he? Or after this season? I don't know. I'm not Mr. Contract guy. I mean, I wish I had all of them memorized, but I just don't. I'm just not Mr. Contract guy. But let's see what Leote is. I'm getting on Spotrac right now. Unrestricted free agent in 2028. So Leote's under club control for a long time. I mean, we could keep Leote until he turns 29. I don't know. I really don't know what the feel is with Leote at this point among the front office. His contract's up now. Why is Spotrac, just curious, I'm not trying to be combative, why is Spotrac saying that he is ARB eligible? So, I mean, basically what you're saying, Aaron, is we could get rid of him? I mean, I know that at this point you kind of go year to year with some of these guys, but I think he could be under club control until 2028, at least according to what Spotrac is telling me. But let me know. Let me know if I made a mistake there. All right, let me keep going here. Sorry if my connection is fading out on y'all a little bit. Let me see what I can do about that. Beyond that, though, I really don't know what the Rangers would be able to get. Don't know what the Rangers would be able to get in return for Dolly or for Tavares. Maybe you can get some minor league guys. Maybe you can package them as a part of some kind of deal for a major leaguer. But yeah, Leote could be moved. I do think we could definitely keep him for 3 more seasons, but he absolutely could be moved. Dolly, same thing. I'd be willing to do a reboot with the Doleys. I'd be willing to do a reboot with Leote. So you've still got Evan Carter. You've still got Wyatt Langford. You go sign a couple of guys. You've got Sandro that you could call up. You got Dustin Harris down at AAA. You've got some guys that you just drafted coming up in the ranks. There's free agency. Personally, I'd be willing to move on from Leote or Adolis. I really do think that that would be an okay thing. If you lose Adolis in the offseason to a trade, or Leote, whether you drop him or you trade him, I think personally that would be just fine for the Rangers and their long-term success and short-term success. I would be a fan of them doing that. I don't know if they're going to be getting rid of both. My thought would be they're probably going to move Leote before they move Adolis Garcia. I think that they probably are going to try and do some fixing of Adolis in the offseason, see if they can get him to rebound. I just don't know if they want to give up on the guy that set the MLB record for most RBI in a postseason. I think that would be a really, really tough pill to swallow if he goes and lights it up for somebody else and you just happen to give up on him in a down year. I personally don't feel great about Adolis' chances of bouncing back and having an awesome season, but I don't know if the Rangers are going to want to be wrong on that. And yes, that is a little bit operating out of fear, but at the same time, I do think that Leote probably over Garcia would be a guy that they would actually be willing to trade. I think Adolis could definitely rebound and get better. I don't think it's going to be a total rebound like back to the 2023 guy, but it's hard to be worse than how Dolly has looked at times up at the plate. I know that the RBI total is still nice and the home runs are decent, but I think that Adolis can definitely have a better year next year than what he did this year. So not going to be surprised if they hold on to Dolly, but I do think getting rid of an outfielder would be helpful. I can't imagine that they are going to keep Travis Jankowski or go and get a Robbie Grossman type outfielder. I think if they do go get an outfielder, it's going to be somebody that can compete for playing time. We'll see what happens, but that would be my guess. Outfield is a little crowded, though, right now in the Rangers organization. I would think that they would want to offload at least some of those guys, see what you can get for them, see if you can replenish some other areas of need. That's what I would do. Let's see. Aaron says, I want them to get Andy Pages, but he's pre-ARB after this season. So Pages is probably going to cost a fair amount, a pretty penny to get him. I definitely love Andy Pages as well. I think that he's going to be a really solid talent. Already kind of is, honestly, at this point. But it might be hard to put together a package. Now, Hernandez, I think that the Rangers might be able to go after a guy like that. My only complaint about Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez for the Dodgers, is he reminds me a lot of Adolis. It's the strikeout or hit a home run. I'm not in love with going and getting a player like that. I think after the season that the Rangers have had, you just need a guy that can make consistent contact, not be up there swinging and whiffing more times than not. Dolly not going to hit 200 strikeouts this year, but I believe he's in the 160s, approaching 170. I just want a guy that can make contact consistently. Yeah, if he has some pop, great. but I don't know. Teoscar feels like a little bit of an upgrade over Adolis right now. That's just my take. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's what it feels like to me. I think there's some other outfielders that I'd probably rather see the Rangers try and pursue in free agency. Let me see if we can go through them. I know we've done it before. It's kind of like there's a few top tier guys, and then from there, it kind of starts going downhill a little bit. But we've got, of course, Juan Soto, the real big name, right? Juan Soto, big name in the outfield. I don't think the Rangers are going to be on him at all. Bellinger's probably going to opt in. Then you've got Hernandez. Mitch Haniger is another guy. He's got a player option, though. Mark Canha, really the guy that I want is Santander. I want Santander. I do not really want anybody else more than that guy. I don't think the Rangers are going to be able to get him because I think behind Soto, Santander is probably going to be the most sought after. But I would love for the Rangers to go and get Anthony Santander from Baltimore. I love Santander. He's been consistent for the O's over the last several seasons. I would love for them to go out and get Anthony Santander in free agency. That would be super ideal. But again, maybe a pipe dream. I just think the Rangers are probably not going to be in big spender mode. And I think there will be other teams that are willing to give guys like Santander a little bit more money than we probably are. Look, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the TV deal and all that stuff. Maybe, just maybe, it'll end up all working out. And then we can end up getting some solid free agents, like some top free agents. But I don't know. With how ho-hum the offseason was last year, I just don't know if I'm holding my breath. But I would absolutely love to see the Rangers go get a Santander type. That would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'll check TikTok, make sure I'm not missing out on anybody. Doesn't look like I have too many people hanging out still, but that's all good. Let me see if I got any comments that I missed. I think we're good. I'm an Astros fan. Throw the whole AL West in the trash. The AL West was not good this year. I appreciate them being real. Yeah, look, the AL West was not great this year. Definitely not. I think we're good on TikTok comments. Appreciate all y'all tuning in, by the way. Thank you so much. So let's start moving forward here. Let's go to the series this coming weekend, a rematch of last weekend against the Mariners. We got Jacob deGrom going tomorrow night. So that should be fun. Home debut, at least home season debut for Jacob deGrom. So by the way, I'm looking at the scores right now. Angels and Astros are currently tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Astros do have a runner on first with nobody out. Friday, tomorrow, it'll be George Kirby versus deGrom. Kirby has been otherworldly when he plays against us, I feel like. So deGrom better have his A game. Like, he better be going 5 or 6 if we want a chance to win this one. Look, Rangers just got to do what works for them and what's best for deGrom. But George Kirby has been dominant against the Rangers, at least what it feels like to me. Scherzer against Hancock on Saturday. And then Sunday, I believe Andrew Heaney is going to be on the bump. And he will be opposed by, where are we at here? Wu. So Heaney versus Wu on Sunday. That'll be a day game. I think every other one is a night game. Brian Wu versus Andrew Heaney on Sunday. So deGrom, scoreless innings in his last time out. That was great to see. You hope he can come out in front of the home fans and have a great second start. That sure would be nice. Let's see how deGrom is fared against the Mariners. I think we went through this last time, but let's check it out. Let's get a little refresher here on Jacob deGrom and how he's done against the Mariners. So deGrom against Arozarena. Arozarena is 0 for 2. Crawford 0 for 3. Garver has actually hit 2 home runs and 2 at-bats against deGrom. How about that? Mitch Garver. Maybe he could not hit a home run against the Rangers in this series like he did on that Sunday against Andrew Heaney. Mitch Haniger looks like no official at bat, but 1 walk against deGrom. Polanco, 2 for 5. Raleigh, 0 for 2. Rayleigh, 1 for 1. Robles, hitting, I believe, 5 for 19 in his career. Julio is 1 for 2. Rojas, 1 for 9. Justin Turner, I think this is like a 2 or 3 for 27. Like, not good. Maybe 4 for 27. Yeah, it's a 148 batting average and 27 career at bats. And then Urias is 2 for 6 with a home run. So by and large, DeGrom has pitched pretty well against the Mariners. Kirby on the other side. Zeke Duran actually is 6 for 11 off Kirby in his career. Zeke Duran, 545 batting average. Doley, 235 average. Heim, same thing, 235 average and 17 at bats for both Garcia and Jonah Heim. Jankowski, 0 for 6. Josh Young, 1 for 8. Carson Kelly, 0 for 2. Wyatt Langford, 1 for 6. Nate Lowe, 5 for 20. Marcus Semien batting 143 in 21 ABs. Does have a home run against Kirby. And then Josh Smith is 3 for 11. And Leody Taveras, 1 for 13. So not very great stats. You had basically Zeke Duran and really nobody else. Maybe throw Josh Smith in that mix. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. Don't know how the Rangers are going to fare in this one. Kirby always seems to shut us down. But maybe you get an epic start from DeGrom, 5-6 innings. We turn it over to the bullpen. We're able to bridge it to Robertson Yates, and we go from there. Like, I think that's got to be the plan. Got to be the plan. Let's see here. Natalie says, I kind of want to see what we got in Osuna. We were talking about Osuna on the show last night. Aaron pointing out that he's won some Rangers awards. Was it minor league player of the year? Was that what it was? Aaron, confirm that for me if you can. But I would not mind seeing some guys come up from the minors to play the outfield and fill in those spots. I don't want to count on those guys, so I'd like to see them still acquire an outfielder. I don't want to see them count on Osuna and Carter and Langford and just those 3 guys to carry it. I think Doley obviously is probably still going to be in that mix, but I'd still like to see them go out and get some type of veteran presence. But I'd be all for giving an opportunity to a guy like Osuna. I think that would be great. But I really don't know what the plan is with him, how fast he's going to be on the track to the MLB, to major leagues. I don't really know. Maybe he gets a spring training invite. And if he tears it up there, who knows what could happen. But I don't know what his projection is right now or what the Rangers are thinking in terms of him moving up to AAA, moving to MLB. I think we may be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I'd like to see some guys like that get a shot. I'd like to see the Rangers, though, go out and get a vet in the outfield, not rely solely on the young guys to get the job done. We already tried that this year. It didn't go so well. I'd like to see them take a little bit of a different path in 2025. Now, beyond that, I don't think we have a whole lot else. We talked about Shohei, 50-50. Congrats. Hats off to him. Most likely going to be winning the MVP. I don't see how Lindor tops him after making history like this. We've got a few other headlines, it looks like, that are worth talking about. We had a dramatic walk-off home run by the Orioles. Gilbert channels inner Walter to lift Mariners to key win. What does that even mean? What does that mean? Let's see what that is all about there. Mariners get a win tonight, though, it looks like. So, hey, look, Mariners are just barely clinging on to life in the wild card. So we'll see what they do against the Rangers this weekend. Sure would like to see them play spoiler, but Logan Gilbert looking real good today. Juan Soto had some precautionary x-rays after a scary, spectacular catch. Brandon Pfaadt shows postseason potential with 12K gem for the Diamondbacks. All right. Diamondbacks are the team I'm cheering for in the NL, by the way. I think it's going to be the Dodgers coming out of the NL, but I'm cheering for the D-backs. And then I'm cheering for the Royals in the AL, but I think the Orioles will probably make it to the World Series. Yeah, the Twins made the headlines today. They really have blown their wild card lead down the stretch. They are now locked with the Tigers for that last wild card spot. So getting interesting here in the last week and a half of baseball in 2024. Game 162 approaching. 162 approaching. It'll be nice for the Rangers to be able to turn the page on this season, but I will miss Texas Rangers baseball as I always do. By the way, I've been plugging it the past week or so, but I will be doing a weekly postseason, or excuse me, off-season show. Postseason, we might still actually end up going live once a week, nevertheless, going through any potential Rangers moves that have been made, talking Rangers baseball, but we'll also talk a little postseason baseball too. So that's the plan in the offseason. Once a week, we'll pick a day, probably sometime during the week. Gonna save Saturday and Sunday for football. You guys know I cover the Cowboys, I cover the Longhorns. So I'll be saving the weekends for football, but during the week, I'll do a weekly Rangers show so we can do hot stove stuff, talk Rangers moves, talk potential players that the Rangers are targeting, all that good stuff. That'll be a lot of fun. And I'll make sure I keep you guys posted on what day of the week. I'm going to try and be consistent with that if I can be, if at all possible. My initial thought is like Wednesday or Thursday, maybe on Wednesday, since Thursday is football night, Thursday night football, NFL, and college football starts. I'm thinking like a Wednesday, probably. I don't like Mondays very much. Tuesdays, I'm thinking Wednesday, hump day for the show. So that's the tentative plan right now. Hope you guys will continue to watch and join me in the off season. I'm going to just go through basically every show, all the different rumors and headlines and news coming out of Ranger Nation. And hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about because the Rangers will make that TV deal happen and they'll be willing to spend some money this offseason. That is the plan. Don't know if it's going to happen, but that is the plan. My goodness. Let me go to comments real quick before I wrap up here. Ohtani never got the 50-50 ball back. Man, look, that's the right move, honestly. And look, I'm not a big fan of like, oh man, just give the ball back for free. Come on now. You caught the 50-50 ball. Get something good back for it. Get an autograph bat from Ohtani. Maybe a meet and greet. But look, I'm actually a bigger fan of taking a ball like that to auction. And you know what? If Ohtani wants it back, buy the ball. That's how I feel about it. Look, if you're not going to buy the ball back yourself, that's kind of how I feel. But look, I know this is very polarizing. What to do with an expensive baseball like that when you catch it? For me, I'm selling it. I have no desire to catch a Shohei Ohtani ball and give it back for free, especially when it makes history like that. You get that thing authenticated. You don't take yes for an answer. You go ahead and you leave the stadium. Don't let the Dodgers personnel pressure you. They want to pressure you in the moment in person to get you to cave. You take that ball home and you evaluate. That's the thing too that I always feel like, why do we vilify the people that don't want to give the ball back? It's okay to take the ball home and evaluate options. If you want to give it back to Ohtani after you sleep on it, think on it, then do so and work out something with the Dodgers and Ohtani to get it back. Take a contact number from one of the Dodgers personnel and call him back the next day after you've had a chance to evaluate. But what you do when you get home is you figure out, how much is this ball worth? And then you get that number and you make your decision from there. But if that ball is worth hundreds of thousands, look, I don't know, is that ball going to be worth over $1 million? I question that. I think hundreds of thousands. I think you could probably at least get six figures for the ball. I don't know if 7 is going to be a possibility or not. I'm just not sure if it has that kind of just monumental pull to it. But I do think you could at least get 6 figures for that baseball pretty easily. So when you consider a bat signed by Ohtani and a meet and greet, And look, I was once a kid that looked up like crazy to major leaguers. And if I got to meet Shohei Ohtani today, it'd be awesome. I'd love it. I mean, when you're an adult and you're my age and older, I mean, look, at least for me, the shine of meeting celebrities and famous people wears down a little bit. We're all just humans, right? We're all just people, right? It's fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to get to meet Otani. Is it going to be like the best moment of my life? No. So getting to meet Otani and having him sign a bat for me does not outweigh a six-figure number that changes my life. So I definitely think six figures. Aaron thinks maybe a Japanese fan pays $1 million for it. Look, I could see that. Maybe there is a Shohei fanatic enthusiast over in Japan that just has to have that ball. You never know. You never know. But again, for me, don't shame anybody that does not want to give the ball back to Shohei for a meet and greet and a signed bat. Take that thing home after you get it authenticated. That's the huge thing. You got to get that thing authenticated. So you got to have a strong will. You got to be able to say no, because the Dodgers are going to be there ready to meet you. And you're going to have people around you, but you go with security. You get the ball authenticated, and then you ask to be escorted out. You take a contact number from the Dodgers, and then you go and get the ball graded, and you get a price point, at least a feel for it. There's plenty of people in the game that'll be able to tell you what they think or what an estimate of the ball would be, and you go from there. Absolutely. So no shame. So we're, just to be clear, the guy kept it, I'm assuming. I'm kind of going on the fly here. You have to bear with me, but I'm assuming the guy kept the ball, or the girl, whoever caught it. That's totally the right move, in my opinion. Totally the right move. Now, look, a rookie's first home run, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little softer on something like that. I mean, unless it's like, a Bryce Harper phenom type. In that case, I might be holding on to that ball. If it's just, Joe Schmo rookie who's just getting a call up and has been in the minors for a few years, I don't know. I'm probably going to be a little bit more open to taking some kind of deal. Anyways, all right, y'all. It's time for me to sign off. I really, really appreciate all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not following the channel, you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate if you hit that follow or subscribe button. While you're at it, hit that notification button or bell as well. Get notified anytime we post something new, our latest and greatest content. Get notified every time we go live. We'll be going live tomorrow after the Mariners game, hopefully after another Texas Rangers win. And if you know someone that loves the Rangers, please share the account with them. Tell them about the channel. Share one of my videos with them. I'll greatly appreciate all y'all for doing that. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Man, I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to clear out some nonsense in the comments. Man, Baseball Network, I seriously might have to take you up on being a mod for me. No kidding. My goodness. What are people doing sometimes? I don't even understand. I know anybody can hop on a live. It's totally foreign to me to just hop on somebody's live and just start trolling. I really don't even get it. But hey, I guess you got to do what works for you. I just don't even understand how that's a sane thought in somebody's head. But to each their own. As I say, look, we don't match it, but we definitely delete it and block. I do need a producer. Look, when I'm making a little bit more money, I'm 100% getting a producer. 100%. I would love it, because then I could get the stats flying across. I could get the video. That is the dream one day, man. That is totally the dream. 100%. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Thursday night. Enjoy the weekend ahead. Hey, come out. Come hang out on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or all three. And if I don't see you, catch us on the replay on YouTube or Facebook. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.